You see these clouds behind me? See these clouds? These clouds are equivalent to your feelings. Now, how long do you think these clouds have been there? Those specific clouds, how long do you think they've been there? They haven't been there very long because clouds are constantly moving. They never stay in the same spot, just like your feelings. See, we often get in this state, this depressed state, this down, low energy, sometimes even hopeless state, just because we feel a certain way in the moment. But I'm here to tell you that your feelings, the negative feelings that come up, are just like these clouds. They come and they go. See, imagine for a second, imagine if when the sun went down, you were extremely scared and worried because you thought that this is what life would be like forever, that it will be dark forever, the sun will never come back up. But guess what? The sun has never failed us. The sun comes back up. As far as we know, the sun comes back up every single day. Your negative feelings, the chapters of your life that are very unpleasant, when nothing good is happening to you, when you're putting in all the work to change, but it seems like you're not getting anywhere, it is not permanent. It's very important to see this because we get caught in the mind in the moment when the feelings are just overtaking us and we feel like it's unbearable, it's too much. It's only temporary. Even the good feelings, when you feel good, even that's temporary. You eventually come back down. You're never going to be 100% happy all the time. But what is most important, what I always talk about on this channel, is awareness. Being aware that you are not your feelings. You are not your thoughts. Whatever feelings come, no matter how strong they are, no matter how unbearable it feels, no matter how negative it is, it will eventually pass. So it is very important that you do not identify with these feelings. What do I mean identify with these feelings? Well, a lot of people have felt depressed in their life. A negative event happened in their life. Maybe they got heartbroken. And now they say, I'm depressed. Or they go to the doctor and the doctor diagnoses them as depressed. So they take on this identity as a depressed person. I have a whole chapter of this on my book. When you take on the identity of something negative, or when you take on the identity of a feeling, then you will live out your life constantly defending that this is the type of person that you are. If somebody tells you, no, you're not depressed, it's just a feeling, it will eventually go away. You'll say, no, I'm depressed. Trust me, the doctor told me. I was diagnosed this way. The doctor knows more than you, Chris. I'm depressed. They will literally defend their dis-ease. There's a huge difference between I am depressed and I feel depressed. Feelings pass just like these clouds. They will pass. The sun eventually comes up and lights the whole world. Throughout the night it's dark. It's scary. But the sun comes up, you can see. When you're going through these negative chapters of your life, these negative periods of your life, you must see it like that. It's just dark right now. The sun will come back up. Now, you can actually become conscious in a way where when the negative feelings arise, you can shine the light on them immediately. By shining the light, I mean becoming aware or conscious that this is happening and that it's not you. See, you are that awareness. You are that consciousness. You are that which is aware. You say, I feel depressed. How do you know you feel depressed? Because you're aware of it. You're aware of it. If you're aware, you know that's not you. So whatever feeling goes through your system, you know it's just a chemical reaction taking place. Eventually, it will pass. You will be fine. The problem is, for a lot of people, that this depressed negative state has become their default. Now, I help people make peace, joy, and love their default. Meaning whatever happens in the world, because the world is bound to throw a million things at you. You can't control what the world throws at you. The world's going to throw a ton of things at you. And you're going to have to face these things. You're going to have to face these feelings. But if your default is a default of happiness, a default of joy, a default of peace, then it doesn't matter what the world throws at you. After those feelings pass, after those negative feelings pass, you will come back to your default of peace, joy, and love. But most people's default is misery, is depression, feeling of low energy. This is most people's default, and it's very unpleasant. This is why I make these videos, to try and help you come out of that, to make your default a default of peace, joy, and love. So you may feel depressed, you may feel miserable here and there. I hope you can hear me fine. It's really windy out here. I almost didn't make this video. But back on track, you may feel these negative feelings, right? But you know they will pass, and you know that your default is a default of peace. Now, if your default is currently a default of unpleasantness, let's put all the extra words aside and just say unpleasantness. If you feel unpleasant most of the time, then you're going to seek pleasure. Because when you seek pleasure, you will feel good. But after that pleasure, back to your default. Then you'll seek more pleasure, back to your default. And you'll do it again. And this is the cycle, like a hamster on a wheel. But a truly joyful, conscious being doesn't seek pleasure all the time. They experience it here and there, but their default is happiness. So you don't need a whole bunch of things from the world when your default is a default of happiness, of peace, of joy and love. You don't need a whole bunch of things from the world. Now, you may be asking, well, Chris, this sounds wonderful, but how do I create myself in a way where peace, joy, and love are the default of my being? I've been in this dark state for a long time. Well, it does take work, because you have been in a negative state for a long time. So it's going to take a decent amount of time to rewire your system, to change the chemistry of your body. And the way that I teach, that I help people with this, is through breathing practices and meditation processes. Because it's not going to happen by listening to a bunch of videos. You have to do the work. There are things that you must do. And the thing is, we were born in this society, in this system, in this structure that has not taught us how to properly manage this system. They just throw a bunch of pills at us. They just give us prescription that's going to cover up the side effects, but it's not going to actually heal you. Now, in the Eastern cultures and other parts of the world, they actually had systems, scientific systems, on the inner workings of the human being, on how to create a joyful, loving, peaceful human being, and a human being that is conscious and connected and aware of their true nature. They gave practices such as meditation, yoga, breathing practices. Even Jesus, he told you to pray. He told you to meditate, take no thought. He told you to fast. You have to do these things to start to reset your system. Fasting especially, that's a really good one as well. If you fast, you will give your system time to heal and literally change the chemistry from a negative chemistry to a positive chemistry. But for a period of time, you're going to feel awful. You're not going to feel great, but that's fine. You need to give yourself that time. It's very important. Otherwise, you're going to continue the cycle like a hamster on a wheel, seeking pleasure to feel good, and you're going to come back down to your negative default. This is not a way to live life. Do you think this is a way to live life? No, this isn't a way to live life. So I don't want you to leave this video discouraged, like, man, I'm in this negative state. What am I going to do? I feel stuck. I feel hopeless. No. I want you to leave this video feeling more hopeful, realizing that there are practices that you can do that will raise your consciousness, that will help you experience a more profound life. You don't have to experience this negative life. So with that being said, that's all for this video. If you want more from me, if you want to learn these breathing practices and meditation processes, then check the description below. I have a program called Inner Transformation, as well as my book that will be available very soon. If you gain value from this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment. It helps get this out to more people. Much peace and love. I'll see you in the next video.